Hello everybody, Nadia and Des. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's doing good. I had a nice quiet weekend. It was lovely. How about you guys? Everything go well? Hope it was fine for you too. Before we get into anything else, I just want to say that apparently Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire deal with Egypt and Qatar. They're the ones that brokered the deal with the Americans on the sidelines there, because they can't get involved in terrorist activity, especially what's going on right now. But anyway, yeah, Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire and the release of, I think it's up to 30 hostages. So that's where we are right now. The only thing is that's holding us back is Netanyahu has yet to say yay or nay. But he did mention to Joe Biden this morning that he was still going through with the Rafah thing, and he's going to relocate a bunch more Palestinian people because he's going to go back in there to try and get Hamas some more. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure, but we will see. So anyway, everything's rocking and shaking here. So let's get to Trump's fake campaign stops that he's making lately, shall we? This is over the last couple of months. Now let's start with Officer Jonathan Diller. He was gunned down at a traffic stop in Queens, and Trump wasn't invited to the funeral or the wake, but apparently his campaign staff contacted Bruce Blakeman. He's a Republican, and he's the Nassau County executive, and he arranged for them to get to where this wake was. So when he got there, it was the prearranged amount of police officers lined up behind him, big backdrop there, and he was all flanked by all these officers. And he said he would be tougher on crime, and that's really funny because he did shit the whole time he was in office. But he stood in front of those police officers who were mourning of a fellow member that lost their lives on duty. Later that day, he went out to say that he was going to pardon the January 6 hostages. You know, the ones that beat up, a couple were killed, maimed, of over 145 police officers that day. Yeah. And he had the balls to stand in front of cops and say that, and then a couple hours later say he was going to release the hostages. Doesn't know what a hostage is. Then there was Laken Riley, who was brutally murdered on campus in Georgia. And he made it a point to say it was Biden's open border that was the reason for that. Actually, it was the man that killed her was the reason for her death. And Biden doesn't have an open border. It's the Republicans that keep saying it's open. And they hear is coming up on news channels and stuff on their cell phones as they're traveling up to the United States is the border's open. Biden's border is open. That's what they hear. It's not open, people. If you can hear me, it's not open. Go back. He posed with some of her family members with a picture of her, and there he was with his campaign little thumbs up there and that cheesy friggin' smile he has plastered on his face. Yeah. And then there's Maggie Trader Green. She was there screaming her name out for weeks. And other than that, did absolutely nothing to help. You think as being as a Georgia congresswoman that she would actually be going to get steps to prevent stuff like this happening, not just in her state of Georgia where it happened, but anywhere, seeing as she's a United States senator. That means the whole country. But yeah, she's done nothing. All she does is dress up like a cheap campaign poster at the State of the Union addresses. Just saying. And then she does an about face as soon as that news has left the airwaves. She's on to the next thing. And then the next thing came up was Laken Riley's father. He actually put a statement out to the press and said that she was a very strong person who excelled in academics, but he feared her death is being exploited as a political wedge for the November elections, i.e. the Republicans. They were all on migrant crime and all that stuff. And then Ruby Garcia's family lost their daughter to an undocumented worker who was a friend of hers. Some say they were dating, not sure. But anyway, yeah, he ended up murdering her. And Trump said that she was such a bright light in the room, and her smile lit up her room and all the rest of the stuff. And he talked to the family. The family member said there was no mention of him from any family members. He never spoke to any of them. Not the parents, not the brothers and sisters, not the cousins. He spoke to nobody. He got that whole thing from her obituary in the newspaper. Yeah. That's pretty disgusting. Then he heard that his poll numbers were dying in the black community, so he got a pair of gold high-top sneakers. You can get them on Temu for like $19.99, and then he just had a T sewn in on them, and he boosted the price up to $400 because he likes his people, right? Besides, from $20 to $400, that's quite the price gouging right there, I'm saying. But 90 cents of every dollar goes directly into his pocket for whatever he wants to spend it on. Only 10 cents goes towards campaign funds and stuff like that. Then comes the saga of Trump goes to the bodega. Now, fresh from his porn star hush money trial, an impromptu visit to a Harlem bodega. Only there was barricades already set up. There was people waiting for him to show up with their cameras ready, all waving and chanting his name. The bodega was the scene of a crime where the clerk, Joe Alba, stabbed a man to death 2 years ago. Murder charges were dropped and they declared to be self-defense. So this location was picked because it was in a very democratic district. Now the victims were hand-picked. I call them victims. He calls them campaign workers. The victims were handpicked, and most of the photographed people were part of Trump's entourage. That's right. And his arrival, and before his arrival, the campaign did hand out his campaign falsehoods and also alerted the press. And there was the next little adventure to the Chick-fil-A, another theater event in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was all staged to get black voters. He ordered 30 milkshakes and some chicken. Yeah, 30 milkshakes and some chicken. But the thing was, when he walked in, there was already people sitting down in there. And when he ordered the chicken, God's chicken, for the entire restaurant, they were already sitting down eating when he got there. So he smooshed, signed some autographs, and met his biggest fan ever. Tell my mama I made it. Yeah, she was giddy. She ran up to him and she was so excited she could hardly breathe. She was hugging on him and loving on him. And I love you, Mr. Trump. I love you. She's a former Republican Party staffer who coordinates events at historically black college universities that might be open to the MAGA conservative way of things, and works with Charlie Kirk. But yeah, she was just random. Then there was this other lady. Oh, her name was Michaela Montgomery, I believe her name was. Yeah, Michaela Montgomery. She was the staffer. And then we have the vegan restaurant lady. Remember that? Got to try that vegan food. I'm not sure I'm going to like it, but I'll try that vegan food. He said it like 30 times. In Waukesha, Wisconsin. The Moose Knuckle had a small business owner speak at his rally. The woman, Shauna Gray, joined him on stage and claimed her restaurant did better under Trump than she did under Biden. More alternative facts. Okay, well, outright lies. She didn't open her Gry Jet restaurant until 2023, which, sad to say, Donald Trump was not president. It was Joe Biden. During the Trump years, I was able to afford things I was worried about, and I wasn't worried about my future. I am now. Gry Jet Enterprises was founded in November 2021, 10 months after Trump left office. Well, was fired. Her restaurant was hit with numerous health inspection violations just since opening in August of 2023. So I don't know how much longer she's going to be open. And she was also bankrupted 3 other business. One in couple in California, another one, I can't remember the other place was. She said, I had an immigrant come into my cafe that recently passed through the borders. You know which border we're talking about, right? And paid for their food with one of the prepaid cards they were given. This is a slap in the face as a proud American who worked hard, just like each one of you. And to be affected by the food costs, utility costs, to have, listen to this, to have some come and just willy-nilly pay for their food in my cafe with prepaid dollars that was funded by us. Yes. She doesn't let out the other part that she also received prepaid dollars provided by us. Yeah, she was on welfare and getting food stamps herself, but she said it was different because she's an American citizen. Now, maybe Trump was right. I don't know. But when he said, don't believe what you see or what you hear, because it's all staged. Look behind the curtain. Don't believe what he's saying and don't believe what you're seeing, because it's all staged. He had 4 years to help crime, raise wages, lower drug costs, all the rest of the stuff, get more jobs. But he spent one whole year on a golf course where he made Secret Service agents pay for their own golf carts. So yeah, he had 4 years to help, and he's saying to you exactly what he wants you to hear. Anyway, sorry for the shaky. 99 love should be good. Be safe. If you're already here, give us a subscribe and give us a thumbs up. You're here, push the like, the little thummy, push it, and share this with your friends. I love you all. Be good to you first so you can be good to somebody else.